Well, hello and Happy New Year from School for Discipleship. This is our regular weekly newsletter that we send out from here at Woodbury Avenue in Bournemouth. And thank you for watching these videos we send out as well. Normally, when School for Discipleship is back in action, these form a kind of short taster, really, of what we've taught that day. But for this particular session, because the students aren't back yet, I thought it'd be really helpful to tell you some exciting news about how we're developing the Bible College in a Box. And this new member of the team who's joined us, Caleb Shaw, joining us to help us with the development of the digital content for Bible College in a Box. I know we've picked up a few new subscribers over Christmas, and there were even some Bible Colleges in a Box being given out as Christmas presents. So welcome to you, and welcome to Caleb. Caleb, tell us a little bit about yourself. What's your background?
Cool. So my background is primarily I trained in journalism. So particularly in the broadcast side of things, so that's a lot of social media, a lot of radio, a lot of kind of TV style stuff. And then I've spent the last few years working in film and social media. So that's been a lot of taking channels that were struggling and trying to turn them into stuff, or developing a lot of kind of digital content for various different contexts, right. Not least universities, the NHS. Yeah.
Great. So a lot of experience in the secular world as digital media is used. Do you think the church, as in general the church, do you think that we use social media well, digital media?
You're asking me this because you know where my heart is really at. So something that is really important to me is trying to get the church online. I think that is an area that the UK church as a whole is very behind on. And it's an area which we can quite easily grow quite efficiently. So as much as I've got experience in the secular area, one of the things I've spent the last few years doing is working with different churches and Christian organisations, taking a lot of very challenging kind of scenarios and trying to build social presence there. So that's meant working with a lot of churches to produce everything from adverts to little explainers of what actually church is, all the way through to running my own Christian production company, and that's led to the production of a whole bunch of resources and content which churches have used.
It's really exciting because, I mean, obviously those are skills that we need to be learning from and drawing upon. And the whole thing with the Bible College in a Box is it means that we can deliver some of our teaching content in the way that anybody anywhere in the world can access. I mean, listening to this little mini lecture now will be participants from Australia, from Myanmar, because I've seen it on a subscribers list. People have been subscribing from far and wide. So given that, this new kind of world we're in, how can we really use social media well, and what are the opportunities it's going to give us in the future to do kingdom work?
Well, I think there's two sides to this. Just in terms of School for Discipleship directly, there's massive opportunities online. As you mentioned, there are going to be people watching this from all over the world. The truth is that's not really something we could have done previously, or if we had tried to do it previously, it would have been logistically an enormous task with many people involved, massive costs. Now we're able to reach people all over the world just by, in this case, putting on a phone and doing it that way. So in terms of School for Discipleship, there's massive opportunities there for taking some of our written content or new content we haven't yet got written, and then putting that online. I think there's opportunities there. And then for the church as a whole, I mean, in many ways, a very similar thing. One of the fascinating things you find when you speak to people now is a lot of people wouldn't like to admit that they were exploring faith. But actually, if you're putting out stuff on social media, if you're putting out stuff online, people don't have to go up to someone and say, I'm interested in faith. They can just find it for themselves. And so you find, yes, maybe sometimes prompted less by individual kind of one-to-one evangelism, but people are exploring faith on their own, and then they're coming to us going, hey, I've seen you put out some of this stuff. What's this all about? How can I find out more? And that's where there's massive opportunities.
That's really helpful, because that area of evangelism and so on is something the church can really grasp hold of. But I think actually for School for Discipleship, it's relevant for us as well, because I do think that there are people who are not yet believers who are interested in theology. So they're not necessarily coming to us for training for ministry, but they might want to dip into theology and not necessarily hear a gospel message, as in evangelism, but they'd like to have a look at Christian history, Christian doctrine, what the Bible teaches in various topics. So actually, I think keeping in mind that wider audience will be part of our brief going forward as School for Discipleship.
Yeah, and you mentioned the kind of rise in people looking at theology. One of the fascinating things you find with a lot of Christian media organisations reaching into that space is obviously things like apologetics have been huge for a very long time, but now you're finding more and more organisations who are going deep into biblical theology, biblical history, and people are finding that really interesting because actually it's something that while everything else around us is changing, stays the same and is secure, and people are fascinated by that. And so that's where we've got a real opportunity to share that.
Yeah, great. Well, look, we're in first gear, we're going into second gear now, or maybe we're in second, we're going into third, but we're going to gear up. So what are some of the things that you're going to be doing in this year ahead for us as School for Discipleship?
Cool. So the primary thing really is taking a lot of this content that at the moment we're delivering in person or through the Bible College in a Box, which is around here somewhere. And it's taking some of that and taking it further online. Some of that will be taking stuff we've got in person and translating it to stuff online so people don't have to have all the physical resources. Some of that will be going, right, now you've got this physical thing in front of you, let's go further, let's explain it more, let's assist in this. So the content we've already been working on over the last few months is basically giving a guide alongside the Bible College in a Box as you work through it.
Yeah.
But going forwards, that's going to look like specific short courses on areas which maybe people would find helpful to dig into more. Some of that's going to look like developing our website as more of a resource or making it easier for people to follow through training and actually see kind of results. So there's lots of areas there, really.
Right. Because at the moment, anyone who's got the box, they will have access to video content for 2 of the 5 books.
Yeah.
But the video is there, so in due course, all 5 books will have the video content. And then what are some of these other areas that we might have courses on?
I mean, we were just talking about this now, weren't we? You were mentioning things like we could be looking at areas like God and politics. We could be looking at areas like evangelism and trying to encourage people to kind of be motivated towards that. We're talking about filming something in leadership. And so these are all areas which the church really needs as much resource as possible. Yeah. And that's stuff that we can really add to online that would be much more difficult for us to achieve just in person. Yeah. And as we've said already, you know, the audience is there and they're ready to listen. It's producing the resources that give them stuff to listen to and grow from.
So we're really still at the beginning of a great adventure here. We've got the core theological content. So for those subscribing, you'll get more and more that you'll be able to access directly. And then these additional components, so God and Politics, the other books that we've added to the box as time has gone by will include Discipleship. There's a book on Colossians on discipleship, the advanced training course that will go with an evangelism training module. So this is the kind of content coming down the line. I'm very excited as to what this is going to look like, actually.
It's going to be great.
Over the next few months. I don't think there's anything quite like this. You know, there are similar ways that you can do learning and study online, and there's plenty of other material out there. But I think, Caleb, for me, what's kind of distinctive here is we've kind of collated it in the box. Now, I know that's physical at the moment, but the point is that with the Bible College in a Box, you've got a kind of set of resources that are coherent. So lots of different topics, you know, God and Politics, preaching, worship, evangelism, but they're all kind of coherent around this kind of core theological content. So I think that's what will make it kind of unique and distinctive. Also, I mean, I'm going to be looking to you for how we do other kinds of discipleship online. So using our social media platforms, short form content that we can get out there. Yep. I mean, really, really short form content sometimes. There's 60 seconds.
Yeah, there's loads of ways we can do that. And this 60-second format is only growing. Yeah. So the more we can be using that, the more we can be engaging, particularly a generation who maybe haven't had some of the kind of background with discipleship training that you might normally get in a church.
Yeah, great. And Caleb, we didn't talk about this earlier, but what I will want to talk to you about in the future is how you can deliver some of that training through this as well, so that those who are doing the Bible College in the Box School for Discipleship will themselves get skills in using social media well and developing their own digital footprint, for the gospel.
No, there's massive opportunity there, and again, it's something that I can refer to the UK church, but I know the UK church, every time I've told people about digital mission and the opportunity there, everyone goes, but how do I do it?
Yeah.
I'd love to. What does that look like?
Right.
And so the more we can be doing in that area, the better.
So watch this space, the content will develop. Do drop us a line as well. If you're picking up these emails and listening to these mini lectures, let us know how you're using it and how we can help you further. We do hope to have hubs elsewhere. We're looking internationally at having hubs, but nationally as well. Drop us a line if you're interested in that. I'll be talking to Caleb about how we can resource people studying remotely further afield. We want to be a community of learning, and that community doesn't have national boundaries. That's the beauty of our social media, digital footprint, is we don't have those national boundaries. So, Caleb, great to have you on board. We will be talking more about how we're developing these things in weeks to come. Next week, we'll be back to normal here in Bournemouth, so we'll send you one of our kind of summaries of what we've been studying that day. But anyway, great to have you on board. Here we are, beginning of 2026, and we'll look forward to what this year brings. So thank you very much for listening in today. Thank you.